Welcome, everybody, to another episode of What's Next for Women podcast. So, how's everybody doing? Are you ready? First of all, let me say this, go grab your favorite evening beverage. Look, Vision Made is here, as well as go grab your girlfriends, grab your families, your sisters, grab everybody. Look, grab your notebook. I'm ready. I cannot wait for you guys to meet. And yes, you've seen Waffle, and it has nothing to do with food, but I can't wait for you guys to hear how it all works. But real first and foremost, I want to welcome everyone. My name is Pamela Stone, and here you are at another episode, another Win Wednesday. If you're new to the episode or new to the show, Win Wednesday is all about tell us your win for the week. We believe in celebrating the small wins because if you celebrate the small wins, then your big overall goal, you're more likely to achieve it. If you're needing help on setting a goal, drop it in the feed. I will be in touch with you. If I can't help you, I say it all the time. I have thousands of amazing women behind me that can help you. So know that if I can't do it, just as my amazing co-host for this week, she can help you. If she can't help you, we will help you because it's all about helping you get to your what's next. Now, my phone is dinging because people keep saying, I see you keep talking about what's next. What is what's next? Well, your what's next is what do you want to do next? Do you want to go after a corporate job, a higher corporate job? Or do you want to be your own entrepreneur, your own boss, but you're facing those what ifs and I can't? Or better yet, you're just trying to figure it out, but you still want to do something, but you just don't know what it is. That is what's next. And I believe in that all of us, should be living our best life because we only get one. So what a perfect way to do it is coming here and creating a tribe of empowering, inspiring women that can help you as I'm doing it to get you to your what's next. So again, if you have any questions, drop them in the feed. And I also want to hear what is your win for this week. You'll get to hear ours, but we want to celebrate and hear yours. And then also, too, everybody, as you can see, Vision Made has a new partner or sister. It is the Vision Made Vision Board box. I can't wait to show you all, but I want you all to know I believe in Vision Board. Vision Board does allow you to get you to your what's next. It helps you manifest your what's next. So I truly believe in Vision Board. If you're interested in getting a Vision Board kit, drop it in the feed, or I'll even drop the link and how you can gain access. So and then lastly, our guest for today, our amazing powerhouse. Yes, it is Dr. Katie Nuff. Nuffle. I'll probably mess it up and I'm apologize before she comes out. But she told me to call her Katie. So Katie, she is a Floridian mathematician. She is a two-time TEDx speaker, a professional member of National Speakers Association, and an accredited master trainer and practitioner in emotional freedom and technique, where she does the EFT and the tapping. And if you guys don't know anything about tapping, you have got to try it. It works. I did it. I was taught how to use it. I promise you, it really works. But we'll let Miss Dr. Katie tell you a little bit more. And then she is going to do a technique on me on how waffle really works. So you guys get your pen and paper. Look, I already got mine. So you guys drop it in the feed on, what questions you want to ask or how do you implement waffle into your life. So without further ado, let me bring on Katie. Hey, Miss Katie.
Hey, Pamela. Wow, what an introduction. You're amazing.
Thank you. This is going to be so fun.
Yeah.
I have my mom watching. I've told her all about it, my dad. So I had to set them up on how to watch this. But everybody's so excited. But thank you for joining me. Yay.
My pleasure and honor. I think what you're doing is so amazing and so impressive and so needed in this world. I agree with you. If we don't celebrate our little wins, the big wins just pass us by. So kudos to you. I love that.
Thank you. So would you like to tell our listeners or our followers a little bit more about yourself?
So I'm a Florida mathematician. I earned my PhD in my mid-50s. I went back to school and everybody's like, what are you doing, woman? You are crazy. But But one of my wins was I completed my PhD in mathematics education in 4 years while I was working full time. And in that process, I discovered emotional freedom technique. And I was like, what is this wonderful magic stuff? I used it primarily to help students overcome their fear and anxiety about math and test taking. And let me tell you, it is amazing. So when I teach math, which I'm an adjunct instructor at the college, one of the things we do is we tap during class so that we can move forward and learn more. And I'm actually, as I'm tutoring my granddaughters now, I have 5 adorable granddaughters, we tap on that too.
Mm-hmm. I love tapping. So tell everybody a little bit about tapping. But real quick, we have Monica. She says, hello, Dr. Katie. And she's telling us, so welcome, Monica, to the show. If you have any questions, Monica, that you would like to ask Dr. Katie, drop them in the feed. She will answer them. You see, I'm working two devices. So I'm going back and forth, but I definitely will grab everyone's question. So Monica, if you have any questions, or better yet, let us know your win for this week. Drop them in the feed and we'll definitely shout them out. So Katie, what is tapping? Tell everybody what it is.
So tapping is what they call a somatic method. Somatic means it has to do with the body and the mind. And it's basically, the basic recipe is tapping on 8 parts of the body. And I'm going to rotate this just a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. Like a Disney robot. But you tap on the top of your head. You tap on the edge of your eyebrow above your nose. You tap on the side of your eye. Tap under your eye. And I'm going to take my glasses off so that you can see better. Under your eye, and then under your nose, under your lips, and then on your collarbone, you tap, and then about 4 inches under your arms, you give your ribs a good tapping. Now, that's the basic recipe, and the whole idea is, Pamela, you do this while you're repeating negative statements. Now, this is what throws everybody. The first time I tried to teach my husband, and I had him sit down on the couch and said, honey, sit down. I'm going to teach you something new. And he turned to me and he's like, what is it now? Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm always doing something. And I said, I just want you to sit down and tell me how negative you're feeling this week. And he looked at me and he's like, this is a trap, right? I said, what do you mean? He said, for 40 years, you've been telling me to be positive, and now you want me to be negative? Yes, the positive isn't working, so we're going to go in the other direction. Well, he didn't know what to do, but because I live with the guy, I knew all the things he was complaining about disruptive clients, about vendors that weren't returning phone calls, about computer problems. So I led him through the process. And when he got finished, Pamela, he threw up his hands, put his hands on his hips and said, well, that was a waste of my time. But Pamela, do you know what happened the next day? The next day, he came home and I said, how was work today? He said, it was great. Now, he never says work was great. I said, what? It was great? I said, what about that client that was giving you trouble? He said, oh, I took care of it. What about that vendor that you were frustrated with? Oh, we called him and took care of everything. Now, I know you've been having computer problems. How'd you get through that? Oh, I called the computer technician and everything's fine. So I guess tapping doesn't work.
Oh, goodness, I would have loved to have been at the house of that day. I really would like
Well, in the past 12 years, though, he's become a convert. And I recently retired. I had a full-time position for 16 and a half years, and I recently retired and was kind of trying to get things settled in, and things weren't just moving just right. And Pamela, he turned to me and he said, I think you need to tap.
Oh, he's going to reverse psychology on you.
I know. So sure enough, one of my, I had level 1, level 2, level 3, trauma, picture tapping, quantum tapping, which kind of goes into past life. Oh, let me tell you, there's some stories there. And also, it took me 8 years to become a master trainer. And that's all I wanted to do, Pamela. I mean, I would stop people in the street and go, I know you've got a problem and I can fix it. And they're like, get away from me, lady. What is wrong with you? I'm like, no, this stuff's amazing. I know I can fix it. So that's why I came up with Waffles. Waffles stands for worries, anxiety, fear, frustration, lethargy, exhaustion, and stress. And so I call myself a Waffles dissolver, dissolving all of those.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait for you guys. Actually, you're going to get to see how waffle works. We're going to do that a little later. But real quick, let's see. Monica says that's good to use the tapping techniques for learning. Oh my goodness. I actually used it, to remove the negative energy. And it helps you so much to get so centered. I promise you, if no one has not used it, you have to try it. You'll have to connect with Dr. Katie so she can show you how to do it, because someone else did it, walked me through it. But I promise you, it worked. It really, really works. And then after a while, you were like, okay, I see it. Just like your husband. I know he was like, what? I would love to have been at the house when he was like, what? This isn't going to work. But it really does work. I promise you. Removing that negative energy, because we have so much going on around us right now. So we all need to be tapping and still tapping. And still tapping, we need to be tapping. So absolutely. So doctor, before we move on to how to do waffle, we all, as we were talking about the negativity that we see around, and I know you have faced some negativity. If so, what negativity have you faced specifically, and how did you get over it?
Let's see. We only have a couple hours, right? Yeah. So I'll make this brief. I came from a very large family. I'm the oldest child of 7 children and the only child. I'm biologically an only child. I have 7 parents. My mother married and divorced 4 times. My father married and divorced a couple times. I had stepfather, I had a whole staircase of family members. When I was a junior in high school, things were not going well. And so I left home. I slept under the bushes in Nebraska for a while, so I was homeless for a while until I realized that the one thing I wanted to accomplish, my win, Pamela, was that I wanted to earn my high school diploma. I looked around at other people and saw that they were living different lives. I attended 12 different schools in 5 different states, and I wanted to have something different in my life. And when I looked at other people who had that something different, it seemed to me like they had more education. I had no idea what you could do in education, except I'd heard that PhD was the highest level you could go. I was like, okay, I'm going to get my PhD. Didn't have any idea what a PhD was. But I knew one of the steps was I had to get out of high school. So I I was homeless for a while. A couple of friends had invited me to spend a couple nights over until their parents caught on to the fact that I was staying a little bit longer than an overnight gig. And I went to my high school counselors and said, I need a place to live. And they were very kind. They got me into a foster home. So my senior year, I lived in a foster home. On a Friday night, I graduated from high school. No one came to my graduation other than me. And no family members came. And then the next day, that Saturday morning, I flew out to San Diego to meet my father, who I'd met for the first time when I was 14 years old. He then drove me to his ex-wife's house. And now I understand. Why would a 42-year-old man who was living in a studio apartment bring an 18-year-old girl that he barely knew, even though I was his daughter? He took me to his ex-wife's house, which I was kind of surprised because she had just gotten out of jail after being picked up on hiring a hitman to kill my father. And I met my brother and sister that as I walked in the door. They didn't know about me until I walked in the door. And I was told my dad would pay for my college, which I was very excited about. And the college was 20 miles away. There was no way to get there except by car, and there was no car.
Oh, wow.
Pamela, I knew I wanted a college education. That was like my goal. That was going to be my win, right? Is to get my college education. My father was going to pay for it. So I hitchhiked 20 miles one way and 20 miles the other way. Half the time that the California Highway Patrol picked me up and said, "What are you doing out here?" And I'm carrying my backpack. I said, "Well, I'm going to school." And there were a couple of vans that I ended up sitting in the back of that while I was sitting there, I thought, maybe this isn't the best idea. But along the way, I met this incredibly good-looking naval officer who loaned me his car while he went out to sea and kept asking me to marry him. And I kept saying, no, I can't get married because I have these goals. And my number one goal is to get my PhD. My goals did not include getting married. They did not include having children. They did not include any of that stuff. And this summer, we'll be celebrating our 49th wedding anniversary. We have 3 grown children who all still speak to us, which I count as a win.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And 5 adorable legal granddaughters. I call them legal because the first letter of their name spell out the word legal.
Oh, that is so amazing. It's
Yeah.
so look how you have overcome all of those obstacles that you have faced. And I always ask all my amazing guests, how do you face the obstacles? Because so many women are like, well, I see you guys are doing it and you're rocking it, but you don't understand before we got here and we still are going through it. We just now have
Yeah.
learned through the journey that we can get through it, and it gets easier and easier by the moment. I promise you. I have someone here that's like, well, I'm facing fear, and I say I face it all the time. I literally every time I come to on the show, before I get on the show, I just get myself centered. I talk to myself and I talk to God, and I'm like, God, use me as the vessel that you need me to use me, and use my tongue as the words that you want it to come out. So sometimes what I have on my paper is not what He wants me to say, but at least I know I have a outline. But I want everyone. I say that because so many women, and I mean, we're getting slammed where women are like, you guys look so happy, you guys love, but we do love what we do. But you also have to remember, we faced a lot on the way, and yet, but yet you also have to learn how to equip yourself when you face those types of obstacles, which you can do, which tapping will do. I promise you, tapping is like, it's
Gold.
it is.
Gold.
Promise you, it is gold. So Katie, we have a couple ladies that are sitting at their desk and they're still working in corporate, and they're trying to figure out how do they get to their what's next, or what did they even start, how they can even start in the process. What would you say to them?
So for those couple of ladies who are sitting in corporate, there's a couple things I do in coaching. Is I ask them, what is it that they want that brings them joy? That's the first thing. And then the second thing is, what is their personality? I'm a certified DISC personality trained speaker. And I have done that successfully with identifying what is your personality and where are you doing the right thing. When I became a DISC trainer, I didn't realize that I had gone into math and computer science only because it was easy for me. And the reason why it was easy for me is that every time we moved, the only consistent thing was math. I mispronounced words all the time because I had all these different kinds of reading styles. I have no idea what's going on in history because I hopscotched around. But math was consistent, and in the era that I was growing up, it was really promoted. So I just defaulted to that. Well, it turns out I'm okay in math, but that's not my personality type. And once I got into a career that was my personality type, I was so happy. I'm like, they pay me to do this? This is fabulous.
So true. I'm with you there. I'm so with you there. So Monica says, I'll tell you her win in a little bit, but she says she loves this. She says tapping all day. Yeah, I love me some tapping, girl. May it be right or wrong, but at least I do get my points. I can tell you, I do get the points that I'm supposed to. She says, so too true. Don't be attached to your plans and what you wrote. And actually, Monica, she is a disc trainer, and actually she did it with me a while back.
Okay.
So yeah, that's that. You guys have to do it. It's really does
Yeah.
help you start figuring out where you fit into and how you can pivot into what you want to do. I really stand behind becoming a disc trainer. That's something we'll talk later about. You also as we're getting, I mean, we're almost through halfway through the show, and the time has gone by so fast. I can't even believe it. But before we get to doing to the waffle exercise, so Katie, as we're doing this, one piece of the in the show we always do is book on the shelf. You know, and you and I had talked. I always believe in expanding our minds. I believe in expanding our minds so we can go to our what's next. And so I'm always asking our guests, what book are you reading? And if you're not reading one, what one could you recommend?
I'm reading about 5 or 6 books concurrently, and that's just the way I roll.
Me too.
Um,
Me too.
uh, so I'm heavily involved in Neil Donald Walsh's book 4, Conversations with God.
Ooh,
Um, yeah. And it's aligned with the work that John Randolph Price did years ago in a book called The Super Beings, which is very interesting. I'm also reading Woman Evolve by Sarah Jane Roberts, I believe.
Sarah J. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, really good.
Wow.
Um, I'm reading The Stressful Life by Dr. Hans Selye, who is the one who really defines stress and what it does to our body and how we can counter it. So, because I'm always doing research on waffles and trying to better understand stress. So I'm doing that. And because I'm a Qigong instructor, I'm reading Daniel Reed's The Basic Qigong course, which is one of 13 books that I've been reading for Qigong.
So you guys, I will drop it in the feed on the books that she's reading. I am actually reading How to Build a Better Story. So I can
Ooh.
so I can better brand Vision Made, which I'm so excited about. I'm like you, I'm reading 5 books at a time. It's just so my mind just works like
Yeah.
yours. I'm also reading actually there was a Black Girl meditation book where it gives you different meditations and different affirmations every day. So I listen to that every day. I also am listening to Uncloned by Audra Richmond, which she talks about how to create an uncloned product for your business so you can stand out and stand above everybody. So I'm reading that. I'm also reading Tabitha's new book, Tabitha Brown's new book. I forget what it is. And I think that's it for right now. I've got a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I will drop them in the feed. If anyone has any questions about those books, I definitely will drop the Katie's list of her books in the feed so you guys can get connected. Katie, if someone wanted to get in touch with you or try to connect with you, how can they do that?
I'm a bit of a wordsmith. So my website is my last name, Null, Nall, followed by the word edge, EDGECO.com. It's knowledgecompany.com.
Oh, wow.
They can also email me at hello@drnull.com. That's HELLO at DRNALL.com. Or they can call me. I'd love to talk to them. They can call me at area code 772-226-0167. Again, that number is 772-226-0167. We'd love to talk to you.
Okay, you guys, I will have all that information in the feed so you can get connected. You guys have to talk to her. As energy, she has much energy she has here. It is the same on the phone. You guys got to talk to her. Monica says, I'm interested in learning the full tapping experience. So, Monica, you just got her phone number as well as her email on how you can connect to her. If you need it again, I will put it in the feed, or you can actually, you know how to get in touch with me. You can DM me and I'll send it as well. But you got to do it. I promise you guys, it's amazing. Let me say this before we go into the under the arm tapping. I didn't understand it until someone explained to me what it really what it really does and how it really works. So after I was like, oh, okay, that makes so much sense. But so yeah, if anyone else is interested, drop it in the feed below and let me know. I will definitely connect with you. So Dr. Katie, are you ready to do waffle on me?
Yes. Can I just briefly tell Monica that I have an 8-hour level 1 training coming up this Friday and Saturday. So it's broken up into 3 sessions. So Monica, if you're interested, let me know.
I'll get with you, Monica. I know her personally, so I'll text, I'll find out and let her know, get her connected to you.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Cool.
So yes, let's talk about some waffles.
Okay, I'm
So
ready.
Pamela, tell me about a worry, an anxiety, a fear, frustration, lethargy, or exhausted stress that you've had in the last 24 to 48 hours.
So my stress level is, oh, real quick, Mona said, okay, thanks. Just want to let you know before I forget that piece. So my stress is I'm still working full time in corporate. I have I have 4 clients, service-based clients that I provide service for. I also have my consulting, my magazine, my podcast, my TV. It gets overwhelming when oh, wait a minute, and I sit on the board as a board of directors as well, board chair for a director. So my time, though I am very good at allotting my time for each one of those. Certain days, such as Monday and Wednesday, it seems to be that everyone's calling me at the same time, texting me at the same time, wanting some kind of attention. So right there, my anxiety gets here. I want to shut down and I get a little frustrated. So that's what I do. Now, let me say this. I used to in the past eat. Now I go walking, or I'll go if there's a really high energy workout class before, if I can time it right, because there's been time where my timing has been off. And again, anxiety has risen. So that is what I face right now.
I've been in your shoes. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. You're going to love this session. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions.
Yep.
The first question is this a true statement? Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Absolutely.
Okay, because when we do the tapping, what's critically important is that everything I'm going to ask you to repeat, it's true for you. So my second question is, if I ask you to repeat something and you go, I wouldn't have said it that way, or I would have used different words, or that's not really true, will you restate it in words that are true for you?
Absolutely.
So let me give you an example. You were saying about you had all this anxiety, and instead if I said, it makes me feel anxious, that was not what you said. What you said was, I have anxiety. So if I ask you to say, it makes me feel anxious, stop and say, I have anxiety. So that's it's a small difference, but a big difference. Okay, yeah. So that's your second question. Third question. When was the last time, like in the last few hours, minutes, days, that you felt anxiety about all these different things you're doing?
Oh, how about 5 hours ago?
5 hours ago. Okay. Now, here's the part that's really interesting about tapping. You don't have to tell me what happened. You can just tell me I'll ask you questions about it. If you want to say what happened, that's fine. But you don't need to know it when you work with a certified practitioner. So 5 hours ago, where were you when something happened that caused you to feel anxiety?
Here in my office at the desk.
Okay, you were here at your office. And what happened? Did you read an email? Did you get a phone call? What happened that triggered your anxiety?
I got phone call and text message at the same time.
Oh, okay. A phone call and text message at the same time. And right now, in this moment, at this time, when you think about sitting at your desk 5 hours ago and you got this phone call and this text message at the same time, when you think about it right this moment, what emotion do you feel?
I feel anxiety, overwhelmed, scared.
Okay. Okay. Which one is stronger?
Anxiety.
Anxiety. From the top of your head to the bottom of your toes, when you think about that happened 5 hours ago, where do you feel the anxiety in your body?
Right here at the top. I promise.
Okay, you call this the top?
Yes.
Okay. And last question, from 0 to 10, where 0 is like, no big deal. I handle this stuff all the time. And 10 is the most anxiety you've had in your entire life. when you think about 5 hours ago, you got that email, you got that text, you're sitting right here in your office, and you got that anxiety at the top, what number is it from 0 to 10?
3.
A 3. Okay, so you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start on the side of the hand, okay? And you can use either hand, it doesn't matter. We're going to start at the side of the hand, and we're going to tap right there, and you're going to repeat after me and say, even though
it
happened 5 hours ago,
it happened 5 hours ago,
but thinking about it now, when I got that email and the text at the same time,
when I got the text and email at the same time,
I feel this anxiety at the top of my head.
I felt the anxiety at the top of my head.
Right here, right now, I feel safe anyway.
Right here, right now, I feel safe anyways.
Even though I still feel that anxiety at the top.
Even though I feel that anxiety at the top.
When I think about 5 hours ago,
I got
the email and the text at the same time. Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Right here, right now, I feel safe.
Even though I was sitting right here at my desk. 5 hours ago.
And
I got that email and text at the same time. And just thinking about it now. I still have anxiety at the very top. Right here, right now, I feel safe. Now move to the top of your head, and you can use one hand or the other or both. It doesn't matter. And top of the head, and tap and say, this anxiety at the top. I'll take my glasses off. And then above your nose, I'm going to go in for a close-up. Hang on. The edge of your eyebrow. You say, this anxiety at the top. And then on the side of the eye, between the eye and the hairline, this anxiety at the top. And then the next place is where I store all my bags for a quick getaway. That's under your eye. This anxiety at the top. And then under your nose, above your lip, this anxiety at the top. Under your lip, above your chin, this anxiety at the top. And then on your collarbone, right under your shoulders, right below, not your shoulders, but your collarbone, this anxiety at the top. And then about 4 inches, give your ribs a good thumping. This anxiety at the top. Now, this is something I have my clients do. Put your hands on your shoulders and rub them all the way down to your wrist while you're blowing it out like a cartoon character. It looks like this.
Oh, that feels so good.
Do it again. There you go. Now, take a sip of water. And I want you to think back to 5 hours ago. You were sitting at your desk. The email and text came at the same time. And that anxiety at the top from 0 to 10, where is it now?
Oh my goodness. It's like down here somewhere. It's moved down. It is moved down.
It's not in your head anymore, right?
No, it's totally moved down here.
And
like
what it
moving.
Okay, and from 0 to 10, how intense is it?
It's not, like, very minimal. Very minimal. Very minimal.
Clinical studies that have been done around the world, Pamela, have shown that when you compare cognitive behavior therapy to emotional freedom therapy to something called EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization, R stands for something I can't remember. But anyway, among those three, that EFT and EMDR are way more effective than talk therapy. And the difference is with EMDR, you have got to be sitting in front of a therapist, a licensed therapist, to do it in case you go into a traumatic response. But with EFT, you can work with a Florida mathematician and have great results.
Well, that was so cool. So you guys, if you're interested in getting connected, I mean, I promise you, it's like I can go walking, so hopefully it won't be so dark out. I can go walking again, and I'll be able to enjoy my walk and won't be carrying all that tension that was up here. It is literally moving down. So as we're getting ready, I can't believe our time has came and gone. It has gone by so fast.
I know.
We have to have you come back again.
Yes.
This was
Let's do
too
it.
good. Yeah, let's do it. Before we close the show though, real quick, what is one thing that you would suggest, or what one piece of advice that you would like to leave our listeners and follower with that they can implement now so they can start working on their what's next?
Well, obviously, I would say tapping. But in addition to tapping, I would say to remember this phrase that I live by: this too shall pass. Now, this is an important phrase so that when you have your wins, what this means is you must take time to celebrate those wins, just like Pamela is telling you, because the win will pass too. And when you're in the depths of despair and you're feeling like there's no other choice, go to bed, wake up, and know that this too shall pass.
I love it. I love it. And then as we get ready to close out, what was your win for this week?
Oh my gosh, I had so many. So many. So I had 2 new clients call, so that's always good, and book sessions. I had a federal enforcement officer give me a great testimonial, which was fabulous. And I have a training coming up this weekend, so I have a lot of things. And my husband started going to painting classes, and he's never painted before in his life, and he enjoyed it. So
Oh, that is so
I
cool.
know,
That is
yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
Well,
So a lot of good.
absolutely. I have to say, my win was I got to do the waffle. I promise you, I've been looking forward for waffle all week. So I was so excited that we got to do it. I was like, oh, man, I hope we don't run out of time. So I'm glad we got to do the waffle. My second one is I was asked to come and do a speaking event about the new product that you see, Vision Made Vision Board. I'm going to do that. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And actually, my biggest one, if you all don't know, I have been really working, talking about Vision Made Vision Board Kit for a long time. And I have this amazing woman that we collaborated together. She put it together and she's like, here you go. And I'm like, this is exactly what I have been
Oh,
talking about for years. Exactly to the T. So
oh.
those were my wins. I have many more, but those are the really ones that stuck out the most. As we get ready to close down, what would you like to leave our listeners and followers with?
Oh, that you're loved, and that if you don't know that, call me. I'll tell you.
Exactly, exactly. Well, I want to thank you, Dr. Null, for coming and joining me. This was so much fun. It was we talked. We had a great time in the first place, so this was great. I'm gonna put you in the green room. Don't hang up with me. And as we get ready to shut this show down, so just a moment. So everybody, I want to thank you for joining us and taking the time out and learning what waffle mean. If no one has not told you, you guys are important and you rock. Know that you rock. And you'll only have one life to live and live it to your fullest and nobody else. If you're needing help getting to know how to do waffle, drop it in the feed. If you're wanting to know how to get to your what's next, drop it in the feed. Because if I can't help you, I have thousands of women behind me. Until next week, when I bring on another amazing powerhouse guest, oh, I can't wait for you guys to see who it is. I want to thank you again and take care of yourselves. Until next week, my name is Pamela Stone. Bye, everybody.